The fall of Trippie Redd. Bro, I haven't heard that name in like years, bro. I haven't heard that name since like sixth grade, and I'm in high school. I'm about to be a 12th grader, bro. It's been years ever since I heard that name, Trippie Redd. Before.
Lived, some rappers managed to survive through various trends and eras, adapting their style and retaining what made them special even as sounds and tastes change. At times, even an artist who seemed to be intrinsically linked to one particular movement can outlast his contemporaries who've either dipped in popularity or tragically passed on to become one of its sole survivors.
Everybody from my era is gone. They all passed away. Everybody that was, coming from the time period I came from, I was the last one.
But now, through a combination of personal woes and professional errors, it looks like Trippie might be about to finally draw the curtain on the SoundCloud
Trippie Redd fell off, bro. I haven't heard about this dude for years.
emo rap movement by dropping the ball and putting his position as its long-lasting success story in jeopardy. It's your boy Luesta, and today we're going to be talking about the self-inflicted fall of Trippie Redd. From a missed moment that could have made him into a superstar, to drama with women that shifted everything, and the downfall that caught everyone off guard. At the moment, it seems like Trippie can't do anything right. Whether he's being clowned for his relationship dramas, or his instance that he's still killing it musically when everything points to the opposite being true, even the Canton, Ohio artist's most devoted supporters are starting to look at him in a new, unfavorable light, and questioning why they still care. Now, they wonder if it's just nostalgia, or the lingering hope that he'll recapture what made him so special in the past. We all got hooked on his music when we were younger. Now it's just second nature to check his catalog, even if you don't care as much anymore. But this didn't happen in the blink of an eye. Instead, the hate and general disinterest which Trippie faces now is a product of a whole host of bad decisions, which the young, idealistic, and passionate man who first broke into the genre probably wouldn't have believed he'd ever make. The young kid, lesser known as Michael White, kickstarted his journey through hip-hop when he started dropping songs at the age of 15. Specifically his breakthrough song called Angry Vibes, which made waves in his local area. In an interview with Vice, Trippie claimed that this song was one of the first ones that really popped off for him, where he began getting noticed
first ever song popped off, bro. You gotta be an industry plant.
Places such as malls, as the track was so lit that he would, quote, make people break their floors at parties and shit. But as much as that early recognition was probably a thrill, fame didn't seem to be his driving force to get involved in the art form. Instead, it was to pay homage to a lost loved one who had dreams of becoming a rap star.
So what got you into music? How'd your journey begin?
Honestly, my brother made music, so when he had passed, it made me want to do music. I got real inspired to do
Bro,
music.
I'm my second viewer, bro. I'm not gonna forget this, but you my second viewer, bro. I don't know who you is, bro, but thank you for watching the live, bro.
To the point where I would be at my grandma's house on the steps rapping and stuff for hours, just freestyling, coming up with stuff.
Just
And
dreaming for this
I really
moment.
was rapping at first, and then getting into music and listening to newer stuff, I was like, okay, I can be free to do whatever I want type stuff. So.
For sure.
After a brief period of experimenting with alternative rock, which he deleted from the internet, Trippie was noticed after moving to Los Angeles and signing to what was then known as Strange Entertainment, the original label of Elliot Grange, which is the son of Universal mogul and current enemy of Drake, Lucian Grange. As his buzz picked up speed, it'd be his debut mixtape, A Love Letter to You, specifically its platinum-selling single Love Scars, which showed off Trippie's rich vocals and musical versatility. And at a time when emotionally vulnerable takes on hip-hop were in high demand, Trippie was soon seen as a potential voice of a generation.
I have multiple different messages. I keep them in a letter fashion. That's why I call my shit a love letter to you. I just want the youth to live and be happy, you feel me? Be happy with life. I want to do something. I want to be better, be successful, and don't fall under, because there's been multiple times I could have fell under, and I did. I kept myself up regardless of anything. I feel like everybody's been suicidal at some point.
Now linked to Elliot Grange's 10K Projects label, bodies of work that followed, such as Life's a Trip and A Love Letter to You Too, essentially made him a star in one fell swoop, providing sales upwards of—
Nah, but this cover right here is actually tough, bro. Look at this cover, bro. I don't know what it's insinuating, saying, but I like the cover, though. What does a unicorn mean on it, bro? This is
80,000, and in the case of the former, a chart peak of number 4. An incredible rise, considering it came out a little more than a year after his first mixtape. But while Trippie was on the rise, a feud with one of his label mates would provide the first hint of the kind of internet idiocy that would later help to derail his career. The bond between Tekashi 69 and Trippie Redd peaked in 2017 with the release of Pulse 1469, a track which showed that the two could potentially be a real hit-making duo for the future. In fact, the Pierre-born beat that was used to springboard 6ix9ine to success with Gummo was actually intended for Trippie to begin with. However, when some unsavory allegations about 6ix9ine and minors came out, Trippie emerged and took a moral stance against him.
I'm sorry, bros. 1400 don't promote. We don't. Weird. I'm a timeless artist. I can't surround myself with goofies. But if we give clout, you feel me? We give clout. It was an accident. Technically not an accident. We made some good songs, bros. But that's not how we rockin'.
This led to constant mudslinging between the two, some of which caused the first major controversy and what could have been moment of Redd's career, something which Tekashi summed up perfectly while going on an Instagram hate campaign against Trippie. At Trippie Redd, "You lie so much. That's why your career is going down. You know that ain't true. That's why you dubbed your best friend XXXTentacion to clout suck Drake, and he still took you off the song, LMAO. To fill you in, Trippie and X, much like he and Tekashi, had been close for a while, and according to some interviews, it was a brotherly bond defined by love and a desire to succeed.
X had hit me through DM on Instagram before I even had got to Miami. I was going to Miami to do several shows, and I performed in Orlando, and then I performed in Miami with X. Ever since I had met bro, we had just became like super cool friends. He like my friend, my rival, all that, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just a genuine nigga. I fuck with him. He's real as fuck. I don't give a fuck what nobody says.
But as Tekashi referenced, Redd's decision to work with Drake, who was alleged to have jacked X's flow on KMT while he was still in jail, caused friction between him and X.
I told bro I was cool with Drake. He acted like he was cool with it, but he didn't really. He didn't like that I was cool with Drake, but saying I was his best friend. So that's what happened. Anyway, he took the 14 chain I gave him, threw that away in the trash. You know what I'm saying? And as life goes on, you just learn. Like, that's learning. I can't give that I just met 5 months ago thinking I was cool with them $1,500 chain that I took out the kindness of my heart. You gotta look at it like this. Yes, the chain is only $1,500, so I don't give a but I bought 20 of them.
And while they apparently patched it up in March 2018 before X tragically passed, the feud caused them to miss out on valuable time together. And to make matters worse, he wound up missing out on the massive hit that became Drake's God's Plan anyway, and in the process, lost his chance to get that rocket-strapped boost that Drizzy was capable of providing to careers back then. But when you really dig deep and break it down, it seems like this situation happened for two reasons. First off, Trippie Redd's DJ supposedly played snippets from the song at a New Year's Eve party without obtaining clearance from the OVO camp. And when people started recording the track,
always be the DJs, bro.
Drake and his crew had to spring into action to ensure it didn't leak. But what frustrated those who were invested in Trippie even more is that he simply failed to record his verse in time, instead choosing to sit out on it, which in turn led to him missing his window in the process.
You say that you had multiple songs with Drake in the tuck somewhere. Was that a lie, or is this the truth? Do you have songs recorded with Drake?
I had one song with Drake, and that was the God's Plan shit.
Okay, that was the only one.
I didn't finish that shit.
Copy.
That's it.
Do you regret not being able to finish it, knowing the success that record had?
No, I pleased to do it. I had the song for 2 months. I could have did the shit.
Although he tried to act like this wasn't really a big deal, the fact is that he missed out on one of the biggest songs of all time. Commanding 2 billion views, it was Drake's first ever track to go diamond, and would have provided the kind of stimulus package that is potentially king-making in the same vein as Laugh Now, Cry Later.
Bro, everybody and their mama heard this song before, bro. Everybody heard this song, bro. Wake up in the morning, just heard this song, bro. God's Plan
was for Dirk, but others feel that there's no guarantee it would have taken off like that with Trippie on it, arguing he would have brought the song down and hampered its success. Still, even if Trippie truly wasn't bothered, he didn't show it, as he attempted to lure him back into providing some shine in the form of a feature. At one point, he shared a snippet on IG writing, "Wish Champagne Poppy was on this." And while it didn't work, it could have been very helpful, as his upcoming exclamation point album was one of a succession of records that were by no means loved by critics and varied widely on the commercial front.
That is rough. That is rough. So yeah, this new Trippie Redd, it's not good.
From late 2018 onwards, Trippie had his first major career crisis, where it felt like things were not hitting the same like they were before. For starters, 6ix9ine was still on his neck, suggesting that he hasn't had a hit for years.
Trippie's album is, we're signed to the same label. They're holding off his album because he doesn't have a single and he sucks. Like, literally sucks. Like, this kid sucks. What was the last record Trippie put out?
But Topanga.
I like the Topanga song. I'm not gonna lie.
That was before I went to jail. Yeah, that was before I went to jail. You just gave me a record that released in 2018, and I like Topanga. At the end of the day, the last hottest record that Trippie released was in fucking 2018. The last hot record Tekashi put out, it was this year. I don't have nothing to say to Trippie Redd, who were signed to.
Bro, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I heard tattoos hurt. He got way too much on his face, bro. I wonder, like, he must be in pain.
Same label, and I know the label head is telling him you can't put because you're not hot.
But that seemed to be a misstep from his enemy, as basically as soon as he'd written off Topanga as his last big song, he basically summoned bangers from him. Although 2019's A Love Letter to You 4 marked his first #1 album and his highest first week sales of his career to date with 104,000 units sold, it would be 2021's Trip at Night, which truly reasserted him.
Man, bro, who be the creators of these posters, bro? This gotta be like his toughest cover, bro. This an actually good looking cover.
As a force to be reckoned with. Tapping back into his chaotic sound of SoundCloud rap's origins, tracks like Mr. Rage gave him a new lease of life, and the 81,000 first week sales of Trip at Night led to a lucrative re-up with 10K that suggested that he was among the genre's elite, just signed to Elliot Grange for $30 million. Now it's time to start dropping A Love Letter to You 5 songs. Soon after, he was claiming that he was making $200,000 to $400,000 a show, and that most of that $30 million was going directly
$400,000 to $200,000 a show is crazy.
In his pockets. Riding high like never before, Trippie proved why his hustle and talent had granted him the respect of his peers. Just months before the deal was signed, Lil Uzi praised his grind, arguing that people don't give him as much credit as he deserves, but his numbers definitely show his credit. I'm gonna tell you one thing about Trippie Redd, he deserves more credit. Another thing about him is that he gets money. I cannot respect someone who don't get money. And one thing about Trippie Redd is he always comes with a good song too. See, it's no middle. It's either you love him or you don't love him. And that's not the only endorsement he's had from esteemed figures in the past few years either. With Tyler the Creator saluting his eccentric ways as he declared, "You're such a freak, and I mean that in the best way possible. I love it, dude. You're beautiful. It's sick." With that kind of momentum on his side, it really started to seem like Trippie was about to equal the status of other artists from his class, like Uzi, Cardi, and the late Juice WRLD had reached. However, it wouldn't be long before it all came crashing down, with 10K Projects likely wondering if they maybe gave him a little bit too much of a bag. As it turns out, Mr. Rage would be the last platinum track of his career to date, let alone to go double platinum. Since then, Trippie's career has essentially been one mishap after another, and it only made it more frustrating both for fans and the artist himself, as his music was persistently leaking. Just as 2020's underwhelming and overly long Pegasus dropped in advance, his 2023 project Mansion music didn't exactly astound listeners either, with the record dropping from 3rd with 59,000 first week sales on the Billboard charts to 21st within a week. But the record
Bro, chat. He keeps changing his haircut like every day, but look, what happened to his eyes, bro? Is he alright?
Was delivered under a cloud of controversy, as Trippie revealed that it had been stolen by hackers.
Whoa. Your password must be Trippie14. Bro, how you gonna let a dude with a Roomba's profile talk to you like
held
that, bro?
for ransom with my project. They wanted me to pay them $1 million because they had all my records, every single last one, all the features. Some hackers. Wow. They had all my songs, so I had to rush the project out. And then on top of that, the Travis song, I had it, but I didn't have the session. So that's what Travis sent to me. I didn't mix it. My engineer didn't mix it. That's what Travis sent to me.
And you just had to run with it.
I had to run with it because if I didn't, the whole project was gonna release and it would have been a big thing. And this has been a big thing. Like, they have been hacking and leaking like crazy. Like, at least my last 2-3 albums, I don't know how they do it. Pegasus, it probably leaked 2 months before it dropped, bro.
Much like he missed out on the Drake feature, the result was an unfinished record and one which sounded disjointed with half-mixed tracks. This meant that tracks like Crazy Train with Travis Scott, which was intended to be a breakout single, instead wound up being the worst performing single that LaFlame had featured on since 2019's Power is Power from the Game of Thrones soundtrack album. From there, things would go from bad to worse. Later that year, St. Michael EP registered 7K first week sales, with its deluxe failing to even make the charts. Bro went 3 times aluminum. And considering he was shifting 104K units just 4 years earlier, it represented a really dramatic downturn for him in terms of fan interest and Billboard success. But with the Love Letter to You 5 around the corner, both Trippie and his label probably weren't too alarmed. After all, this legendary mixtape series had always delivered, but this time, nothing could be further from the truth. Debuting at number 13 and just 30K first week sales, it became the weakest entry in the Love Letter series, falling short even of Part 2, which had once been seen as his early breakout. And suddenly, some of Trippie's more cocky claims about his place in the hip-hop elite were looking a little short-sighted, especially since this clip of him clowning rappers for selling 30K aged like milk.
C-list rappers, nigga, we about to create Avengers of trash, nigga. If we all put our 30,000 first week together, nigga, we gon' make a bit.
While he claimed it was specifically a 6ix9ine diss after he dissed his dead brother, that doesn't really hold up under scrutiny when you look at the fact that he suggested they team up. So above all else, it was simply a bad look for Trippie. However, it was far from the only blemish on his reputation in recent years, as when you look back at how Trippie's output and acclaim have declined, it can only be understood by examining some of the other factors which contributed to it. For starters, there's the toll taken on him from his sustained drug use. As much as it was a crucial aspect of the image of the emo rap era, the death of his friends and former collaborators at the hands of narcotics provided plenty of reasons for him to switch up his life choices. In fact, he even pledged to stop consuming them after Juice WRLD's untimely death.
To use this time as a wake-up call. If it ain't weed, we ain't doing it no more. If it ain't weed, we ain't doing it no more. And when I say we, I mean us as a group, us as a whole, the whole emo music artists. Like, no drugs. I kick the cup, I kick everything but this.
He even pleaded with his fans to put down the cup after realizing the hazards of the syrup.
Don't do lean. Don't do lean. Please don't do lean, bro. That shit is liquid heroin. Don't do it. I stopped. I had went to my manager's house and stopped kicking at his house. And I got sick as fuck, bro. That shit crazy, bro. Like, I wouldn't wish that upon nobody, bro. You get addicted too quick to that shit. Fuck that shit.
But years on, it seems like Trippie is as reliant on these substances as ever. Bro gotta kick the cup. This is getting ridiculous, said a fan after seeing a story posted on Trippie's alternate IG account where he claimed he was sipping away the pain. Whenever an incident of him flexing his lean habit occurs, which is more often than it should, his dedicated subreddit can't believe that he's still doing this. Y'all remember him calling lean liquid heroin a few years back and telling everyone not to do it? He a drug addict. That's what makes it so much more annoying. One of the reasons I got into Tripp was because he said the only drug he did was weed. If Trippie is truly struggling with substance abuse issues, it may go some way to explain a lot of his erratic behavior in recent years, including some of his more troublesome choices that are still to come. But while that provides a window to understand some of the reputational damage he's done to himself, it's still not enough to understand the genre sadboy debacle with MGK, an EP released with a punk rap crossover star. To say that the record is one of the most critically hated of the entire decade would be an understatement. One user summed it up perfectly by writing, while thankfully short at just around 27 minutes, genre sadboy is a challenge to get through without wincing. Both rappers somehow managed.
Bro said thankfully short. He's thanking the rapper for it being short.
To turn in performances that are simultaneously over the top and phoned in, with hyperbolic lyrics about broken relationships, addictive tendencies, crying in limos, and lost happiness. The record was regarded as such a terrible atrocity to the culture that it was even clowned on by a producer who was featured on it. The way I just learned, I have a beat placement this morning and I know it's about to be the worst song I ever heard. Seeking to turn the tide, Trippie clapped back by telling him that he removed the song from the album, while MGK said he played himself for likes. But as it turns out, the label had already paid the producer their fee, making this attempted jive just another L for a project that was full of them, including the fact that their combined star power only mustered 17,000 units. Sheesh. But if there's any factor that has contributed to the general sense that his time in the sun is over, it's his issues with his dating life that have painted him as a pretty terrible individual. Like many young, rich, and famous men, women have been a persistent problem for Trippie since the outset of his career. Back in the day, he was portrayed in a hypocritical light by excitement with a little nervousness mixed in.
I don't know enough about him. You know, I've never met him personally. I've heard a few of his songs, you know what I'm saying? I don't try to judge based off what's off the internet, because Lord knows I hate when they do it to me, but Yeah, this is a different moment right now, man. First, I want to congratulate both of them, and my daughter's having a baby. This is by Trippie Redd. Like, wow, huh? I mean, I'm gonna be a hell of a grandfather.
But within 2 weeks of the news breaking, everything came crashing down when it became clear that he was up to his old tricks. Nothing worse than being cheated on. I wouldn't wish this pain on my worst enemies. Soon, it came to light that Koi had found out after she caught him red-handed, with some gossip pages speculating that she had to engage in a little espionage to find out.
They were broken up already.
With the rap game.
It's no fake old nigga as talented as me. We just gonna leave it there. All genres. You niggas is booty. All you niggas suck. This shit watered down. All the way watered down, man. This shit 98% dick riding and 2% 2% talent.
Alongside claiming that his next album is gonna be remembered alongside some of the most innovative projects in hip-hop history, he also stirred up some drama by challenging Ye's claim of inventing rage music back during the Yeezus era, only for fans to immediately side with West at a time when that isn't happening a whole lot.
The inventors of the rage sound is me, X, Cardi, and Uzi. We paved the way, we popularized it. I'm not gonna let you old ass niggas say you invented something that you ain't invent. Niggas need to take they pills, man. These niggas be psychotic, like out of their fucking mind. Like, your old ass ain't invent shit. That's exactly why I ain't pull up on his old ass, cause he always just wanna put a nigga beneath him and shit. You ain't really for the black people, you ain't really for your people, nigga. You be using niggas, and you lost right now. Hey, artists coming up, keep a hold of y'all craft, man. Don't give y'all shit out to these old niggas, cause they just wanna get around you, find out your sound, use you, and then dump you, nigga. Won't fuck with you ever again, nigga. All these niggas cutthroat.
While also comparing himself to artists who cemented their place in the genre, like Chris Brown and Drake, he claimed that this would be his own Life of Pablo moment, a chance to redeem himself in his music in a way we haven't seen since Ye's legendary era. This whole generation of rappers he talking about came out of 2016. This man has lost his mind. He doesn't understand how Kanye influenced this whole generation, left without a real rollout strategy besides making brash statements online and leaning into his villain arc. We've reached a point where he's even being accused of using drama with Future over an ex-girl to boost his profile ahead of a project dropping.
Doing those social media shit, I sent it.
He should be doing. Instead of killing it in the way that he pretends to be, Trippie is at the lowest point of his career, and fittingly, the only place that he's still thriving on is SoundCloud, where he tops the charts. But unfortunately,
SoundCloud is crazy.
This depicts exactly where Trippie's career is at right now, with both he and his fans pining for those days where he was making smash after smash. The only problem is that now, he doesn't seem to have the focus to do so, nor the goodwill of the public for them to hear him out after a series of high-profile flops. So whatever happens from here, Trippie has a lot to prove before he could regain anything close to the position he once had as the man who was keeping his era intact. Because for now, it looks like he's going to be the last one to fade into irrelevance.
Nah, try a video about Lou Insta, bro. Try a video about Lou Insta.